Clear yung screen. Full ba yung screen?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. So, pati audio ko clear?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Alexandria Bayawa, not Alex Ayala. So, welcome to the muscle and nervous tissue. Afterwards, you'll have your nerve supply of the upper limb. As Dr. Pakulan is still fixing her fixing some technical issues. Okay? I hope that you have seen the lecture in Canvas. You've gone through them. So before we proceed, do you have any clarifications from Canvas? You can list them down. You can interrupt me during the lecture. Just raise your hands. Dr. Uy will prompt you or acknowledge you so that I can address your questions. Para immediate yung answer natin doon sa concerns nyo. Alright? So far, any particular topic in the asynchronous lecture that you'd like to focus on, just tell me later as we go through the slides. Okay? So let's go back and review the objectives for the muscles. Enumerate the characteristics and functions of each type of muscle tissue. Classify muscle tissue based on morphology and function. Differentiate the types of muscle tissue under light microscopy and describe the structure of a sarcomere and morphologic changes occurring in it during contraction and explain the regenerative capabilities of muscle tissue. And for the nervous tissue, we have the following objectives. Outline the general organization of the nervous system. Identify the parts of the neuron under light microscopy. Classify neurons based on the number of processes, shape, size, and function. Describe the formation, structure, and functions of the myelin sheath. Classify synapses based on their ultrastructure. Classify the different nerve endings in the body. Identify the neuroglia and differentiate each as to morphology, origin, distribution in the central nervous system, and function. And lastly, describe the regenerative capabilities of the nervous tissue. So we now go to the muscle tissue. So when you're asked to classify the tissue, it could either be a muscle or a nervous tissue. Okay, so in your practical exam, if you're shown in the screen to classify tissue, so it could either be a nervous tissue or a muscle tissue. So right now, currently there are only three types of muscle tissue. They are the skeletal, the cardiac, and the smooth muscle, and each has its own characteristic. Like for the skeletal muscle, based on morphology and function, it has a forceful, quick, discontinuous, and voluntary contraction, and it has striation. So the skeletal and the cardiac muscle has striation, while the smooth muscle is non-striated. Whereas the smooth muscle has an involuntary contraction as well as the cardiac muscle. So both the cardiac and the smooth muscle are similar in that way, in such a way that they are both involuntary muscle, or in terms of contraction, they are both involuntary. But in terms of striation, the skeletal and the cardiac muscle has both. Both of them has striation. You can differentiate between the skeletal and the cardiac muscle by looking at their nuclei. Okay, so the cardiac muscle has centrally located nuclei while the skeletal muscle has peripherally located nuclei. There is a connective tissue covering for each muscle fiber. You have the endomysium enclosing each muscle fiber, the perimysium enclosing a bundle of muscle fiber, and the epimysium enclosing connective tissue enclosing bundles of perimysium. When it comes to contraction, so the thick filament or the A band and the thin filament called the I band. So there is the alpha, actinine, and desmine, and they are the one that tie the adjacent sarcomeres together. So the unit of each muscle fiber is called a sarcomere. So be able to differentiate changes in sarcomere during contraction. So on contraction, the I band becomes narrower while the H band is extinguished, and one Z disc moves closer to one another. So a sarcomere is from one Z disc to the adjacent Z disc. The A band is unaltered even during contraction. So both in resting and both in contraction, the A band is unaltered. So be able to know what happens in the motor end plate or the neuromuscular junction. So step by step, there is explanation in your textbook more. So be able to know the acetylcholine, the ion channels that happens during muscle contractions. So it's a step-by-step process, and what is being released and how is calcium going from the T-tubule, so how it is spread, and what are the components of the neuromuscular junction. So review them in your textbook. So July is a Disability Pride Month. So there are muscular dystrophies which are considered disability. So there is the DMD or the Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It is a problem in dystrophin. So for the disability month, you have such problems as muscular dystrophy. So you can identify these persons with disability by their irregular walking pattern or their irregular gait, like waddling or to walking. They have problem in balance or problem in climbing the stairs or running. So sometimes there's also difficulty in breathing or breathing problem, easy fatigability, or in swallowing, because all of these are controlled or are functions of the muscle. Like for the GIT, most of the GIT is composed of smooth muscle. The heart is composed of cardiac muscle, while your muscles is composed of skeletal muscles. So any problem with these muscles, any enzyme that is lacking will have the person will have a disability. Okay, so another example, what I've mentioned earlier, the Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So there is a problem in cardiac muscles. There's heart failure, weakness in walking, so loss of muscle mass, inflammation, fibrosis, and also in the GIT, in the smooth muscle, there is also problem with it. So the main currently the medication for it is a rimeporide. So this is the current management for the Duchenne muscular dystrophy. The Golgi tendon organs are found in the tendons of muscle and respond to stretch. They contain only afferent fibers, and regulate the amount of effort required to perform movements. So these are the Golgi tendon organs. So they respond to stretch, muscle stretch. So differentiate the Golgi tendon from the muscle spindle. So the muscle spindles versus the Golgi tendon. Microscopically, this is the neuromuscular spindle, which is composed of a nerve fiber, the capsule, and the spindle cells. A very distinct characteristic of the cardiac muscle is the intercalated disc. These represent the interface between adjacent cardiac muscle cells where many junctional complexes are present. So the following are the three main junctional specialization: the fascia adherentes, the macula adherentes or the desmosome, and the gap junctions. Microscopically, be able to differentiate the Purkinje fibers from the usual cardiac cells. So the Purkinje fibers are more lighter colored, and they are bigger than the usual cardiac cells. The smooth muscle cells are described as elongated, non-striated, spindle-shaped, or fusiform muscle. The nucleus are cigar-shaped and it's usually 20 micrometer in length. They are found in blood vessels, and they are usually stretched or bigger in the uterus, like 500 micrometer for pregnant women, because the uterus is composed of smooth muscle cells. Another specialized type of smooth muscle is in the eyes or the iris of the eye. They are called the multi-unit smooth muscles and found in the intrinsic muscles of the eyes. So for the uterus and the intestines and the ureters, which are all made up of smooth muscle, they are called the visceral smooth muscle. So this is the summary of the regenerative capacity of each muscle tissue. So the skeletal muscle undergo limited regeneration. The source of regenerating cells are the satellite cells, while the smooth muscle has is very capable of active regeneration because they undergo mitosis, while the cardiac muscle virtually has no regenerative capacity beyond early childhood. So, yung mga nagkakaroon ng scar tissue sa heart because of infarcts or myocardial infarction, so the damage or the defect is permanent. Usually, the damage is replaced by the proliferation of connective tissue. They are replaced by the myocardial scars. We now go to the nervous tissue. So the structural component of nervous tissue are the neurons, or the basic functional unit of the nervous tissue is the neurons or the nerve cell. They are for receptive, integrative, and motor function of the nervous system, while the supporting cells or the glial cells, from its name, it's for support and it protects the neurons. They do not receive or transmit impulses, and in the CNS, they are called the glia or neuroglia, while in the peripheral nervous system, they are called the Schwann cells and the satellite cells. So, just like the muscle, they have connective tissue covering. So, each neurons is covered by an endoneurium, while the bundle of nerve fibers is covered by the perineurium, and bundles of perineurium is covered by the epineurium. These are nasal bodies. They are found in the body of the neuron. So the neuron has parts. It has a body, the axon, and the dendrites. The nasal body is found in the pericardion or the body. So the classification of neurons could either be based on the processes extending from the body. They could either be multipolar, unipolar, or pseudo-unipolar, bipolar, or anaxonic. Functionally, the neurons could be classified into either a sensory or a motor neuron. So multipolar neurons are found in the ventral horn of the spinal cord. So if you can see there, emanating from the body, from the soma of the neuron, are multiple processes. That's why they are called multipolar neuron. The Purkinje cell is a multipolar, and they are found in the cerebellum. Now, be able to differentiate the Purkinje fibers, which is found in the cardiac tissue. Excuse me for a while. Sorry for that. Let me go back. Oops. Okay. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So far, are there any clarifications on the muscle tissue? Muscle tissue, wala. Okay. Madali lang, di ba? Tatlo lang naman yung kailangan yung tandaan. Di ba? For the muscle tissue, the skeletal, the cardiac, and the smooth, and know their descriptions for each characteristic. So, to continue with the morphology of the nervous or the neurons, so it could either be multipolar, just what I've said. So this example is the Purkinje cells. Be able to differentiate the Purkinje cells from the Purkinje fibers which are found in the cardiac muscle. Diba? Earlier I said the Purkinje fibers from the cardiac muscle, differentiate them from the usual cardiac cells.
Dok, may tanong lang po.
Yes.
Same lang po yung adherentes sa adherence. Kunyari po dun sa macula adherentes. Interchangeable po ba siya sa macula adherence?
So, ang name niya is macula adherentes. Ang other name niya is desmosome. Macula adherentes or desmosome, yun lang yung pwede mong ipag-interchange sa kanya. Macula adherentes or desmosome. And then yung isa is fascia adherentes. So, si fascia adherentes is more prominent in the transverse portion. They serve as the anchoring sites for actin filaments of the terminal sarcomere. Diba? Ang isang unit ng muscle is called the sarcomere. Diba? So, yung sa tatlong junctional specialization, you have the fascia adherentes found in the transverse portion, si macula adherentes or desmosome found in the transverse portion, while the gap junction is found in the lateral portion. Yung gap junction, yung walang adherentes, gap junction lang siya, and they provide the ionic continuity between the adjacent cells. Kasi dito siya sa may lateral portion, so sa may gilid siya. Whereas si macula, doon siya sa transverse, si fascia adherentes, transverse portion din. Na clear, Mr. Chan?
Yes po.
Ganda nung name mo, no? Rocky. Pero, Chinese ka. Tama ba?
Yung nanay ko.
Rocky Chan. Okay. So, thank you for that question. So, if you have any more clarifications, you can just raise your hand, just like what Mr. Chan did. Thank you for your clarification. So now, to proceed, we have another multipolar found in the sympathetic ganglion. So you will appreciate it more in your laboratory that found in the sympathetic ganglions are multipolar cells. Whereas in the dorsal ganglion, peripheral to the pseudo-unipolar neurons are found. Tapos there are also different nerve endings. Differentiate the Merkels from the Meissners, the Ruffini from the Pacinian, and the cross and bulb. So they are all summarized in your textbook. The glial cells or the supporting cells of the nervous system mostly are of the neuroectodermal in origin, except your microglia, which is of mesoderm in origin. So the oligodendrocytes are the one that produce myelin in the CNS, while the Schwann cells are the one that produce in the peripheral nervous system. So the microglia does the macrophagic activity, while the ependymal cells are found in the lining cavities of the CNS. The astrocytes are also found in the blood-brain barrier and functions in the metabolic exchange as well as the repair process. So the astrocytes could either be fibrous or protoplasmic. So differentiate the fibrous astrocyte from the protoplasmic astrocyte. Okay? And these are the oligodendrocytes which produce the myelin in the central nervous system. So, know how the myelin or the mechanism of myelinization is formed in the peripheral nervous system. So, di ba, in the peripheral nervous system, you have the Schwann cells. Here, di ba? So, the Schwann cells in the peripheral nervous system or the oligodendrocytes in the central nervous system. So, they form myelin by concentrically wrapping its membrane around the axon to form the myelin sheath. So, wrapping may continue. Yung wrapping, W-R-A-P-P-I-N-G, So, wrapping may continue for more than 50 turns, and then the cytoplasm is squeezed back into the body of the Schwann cell, bringing the cytoplasmic surfaces of the membranes in contact with each other, forming the major dense line that spirals through the myelin sheath. So, you can watch animation of this in YouTube, or you can read this in your textbook. Now, the microglia, these are the, usually you can see them as a flat, look at the arrows, mga flat na neurons. So the nucleus they are relatively few, and numerous processes emanating from the body. So they function as they are the ones that eat up or macrophagic activity, see microglia. While the ependyma lines the cavities of the central nervous system. So they are the ependymal cells that lines the CNS system. Yung mga butas. mga spaces in the CNS. They are lined by the ependymal cells. So previously, the regenerative capacity of the nerve, the muscle tissue was discussed. Now, let's discuss the regenerative capacity of the nervous system. So, nerve regeneration happens in the peripheral nervous system wherein the neurons attempt to repair the damage, regenerate the process, and restore. They try to restore the function. Okay, so look at this figure. So the axon, look at the site of damage in the injury. In the injury, there are three regions. Site of damage, there is local changes, and distal to that site, there is an anterograde changes. And then the third reaction would be proximal to the site of damage, which is called the retrograde changes. So, initially, at the site of injury, there is local changes. There is also anterograde changes, which is distal to the site of injury, and proximal to the site of injury, which is called the retrograde changes. So some changes occur simultaneously, while other changes occurs weeks or months apart. So they allow the recovery or function of the peripheral nerve cell damage. So again, in the peripheral nervous, the Schwann cells form the myelin sheath around the axon and support the nerve regeneration after injury. Are there any more clarifications or questions for the... Yes, Miss Cheng. Kamag-anak mo si Chan.
Hello po, Doc.
Same group.
Question lang po regarding po dun sa astrocytes po for the
Yes.
types. Other than the location po of the protoplasmic and the fibrous astrocyte, what could be a more like a defining feature po to identify them? Kasi napansin ko po na medyo similar po siya.
Oo, mahirap siya.
It's like,
Look at this. This is a fibrous astrocyte. You can distinguish the branches of each dendrites. And normally, they are found in the blood vessel. Yung branches na yan, nakita mo yung blood vessel?
yes po.
Yun.
Yes po, no?
So, usually si fibrous ang malapit sa blood vessel. While the protoplasmic, very fluffy siya, you cannot distinguish the fibers emanating or the dendrites emanating from the body, from the pericardium. So, eto, kitang-kita mo, di ba, yung mga fibers. So, this is more of the fibrous. While the protoplasmic, mas ano siya, mas fluffy, you cannot distinguish the fibers, and usually malayo siya sa doon sa mga blood vessels.
Okay, thank you po, Doc.
Welcome. Any more clarification? So, Miss Cheng, let me ask you a follow-up question naman.
Yes po.
What are your astrocytes? Describe your astrocyte. What are they for?
for synopsis po, Doc?
No, they are glial or they are only supporting cells. They are supporting cells of the CNS, your astrocytes.
Okay, noted po, Doc. Thank you.
Okay. Any more clarifications? Maganda yung nagtatanong kayo para ano? Para for your classmates na rin. Kasi siguro they are not very upfront in asking questions. If there are no questions, I will assume that you have understood. Yes, Mr. Cruz.
Doc, is it tama po ba na yung nerve cell regeneration po, so, siya, from proximal to distal po?
From the site of injury, there are three areas of regeneration, no? So, doon sa mismong site of damage, local, distal, and proximal. Hanggang sa makarecover siya. Hanggang sa mabalutan siya ng myelin. Either makarecover siya or completely mag-separate siya.
Okay po, thank you po.
Mr. Cruz, wait lang Miss John, Mr. John Bon Jovi, mag-question muna ako kay Mr. Cruz.
Sige po.
Okay. So, in the peripheral nervous system, ang nerve regeneration, myelin formation is, which cell is responsible for the myelin production in the PNS? Mr. Cruz.
Schwann cells po.
Okay. In the central nervous system,
Oligodendrocytes po.
okay, good. Okay now. Sige. Mr. Pabilonia?
Yes po. Can I be heard po?
Yes,
Oo.
you're heard.
Thank you po. Medyo nahihirapan pa po ako ma-identify ng pseudo-unipolar neurons. Based dun po sa picture sa previous slide po. Is there any other way to identify it much clearer?
Sorry. Ano yun? Which one? Ano yung gusto mo i-differentiate?
Yung pseudo-unipolar neurons po
Mm-hmm.
sa dorsal root ganglion. Sa picture kasi medyo hindi ko makita yung kung saan po yung neurons actually. Ay, for yung
Oo nga.
yung isa po. Top one.
This one?
Yung sa
The
taas po.
sympathetic is multipolar. The DRG or the dorsal root ganglion is pseudo-unipolar.
Yung sa slide 25 po, Doc.
This one, multipolar. Multipolar siya. Ayun kita mo yung mga Purkinje cells. Di ba madami siyang mga nandun siya sa junction ng
Okay po. Pero yung pseudo-unipolar yan po, medyo mahirap.
Si pseudo-unipolar kay DRG lang siya. Dorsal root ganglion. So, research ka pa kung ano pa yung may mga pseudo-unipolar in the body. Kasi rare lang si pseudo-unipolar
Okay po, Doc.
Doon sa Canvas, merong mas magandang slide on DRG na H&E slide, yung color pink din. Kasi ito, ano to Purkinje cells. Parang ganitong color din. Color pink. Pero ano siya, si DRG siya. Mas makikita mo doon yung pseudo-unipolar na na picture or microscopic picture, histologic picture ni dorsal root ganglion. Etong si sa may cerebellar cortex to si Purkinje cell. So nandiyan siya sa junction. So, yan yung makikita mo yung mga malalaking cells na yan. Yung mga pink, they are Purkinje cells. Kikita mo marami siyang mga branches or dendrites. So, kaya siya multipolar. This is an H&E stain. So, in your canvas, dun sa asynchronous lecture ko, you will also see there an H&E stain of the dorsal root ganglion. So, much better picture than itong nasa nasa summary ko.
Okay po, Doc. Thank you po.
Okay. So, ang assignment mo, Mr. John Bon Jovi, favorite singer ko, aside from the cerebellum, aside from the dorsal root ganglion, where else can you find a pseudo-unipolar or unipolar neuron in the body? Okay? So, pag nakita tayo sa lab, sa histolab, you will tell me.
Sige po, Doc.
Or you can post it in Canvas so that your classmate will also know which other part of the body has a pseudo-unipolar. Kasi rare si pseudo-unipolar. Most of the CNS na neurons are multipolar. Okay?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. Any more questions? So that you will also help your other classmates learn?
Ma'am, there's a question po. To clarify, in terms of the classification of the neuron, what is the difference po sa ventral horn versus the dorsal root ganglion? Or the dorsal horn rin po?
The difference between the multipolar?
I think nalilito sila if the ventral horn is multipolar or pseudo-unipolar, pati rin po sa dorsal horn and dorsal root ganglion.
Okay. So, sa ventral horn of the spinal cord. Yun ba? Yung ventral horn kasi at the spinal cord, multipolar yon. Ito yun, naka-silver stain. Ito yon, di ba? So, in the ventral horn of the spinal cord, you will find the multipolar neurons. Whereas doon sa dorsal horn ng spinal cord, yun ba yung question? What could be found in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord?
Opo ma'am, nalilito po sila sa classification of the neurons found there. Uh, let's see.
I think there are also multipolar neurons in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. But more prominent siya sa ventral horn. Versus, I think you want to differentiate the dorsal root ganglion from the ventral and dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Yun ba yung question? Tama ba, Dr. Uy? Nalilito sila between the ventral horn and the dorsal horn of the spinal cord versus that of the dorsal root ganglia and the sympathetic ganglia of the peripheral nervous system. Tama ba ako?
Ma'am, yeah, they're trying to figure out like if we're going to classify according to the number of processes.
Number of processes, yes.
Opo. So, parang nalilito sila which one, yung multipolar, where do you find it sa mga examples that you just
Si multipolar, you can find them in the ventral horn or sometimes in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. And you can also find them in the peripheral nervous system dun sa sympathetic ganglion. While the pseudo-unipolar is found in the peripheral nervous system doon sa dorsal root ganglion or sa DRG. Clear ba yon?
Okay po, I think it's clear from the others who just chimed in. Opo, thank you po.
Okay. So again, let me summarize that. Kung nalilito kayo doon, the spinal cord is part of the CNS or the central nervous system. So in the central nervous system, most of them are, you will find the multipolar neurons. So one here is in the ventral horn of the spinal cord, which is also part of the central nervous system or the CNS. Now, in the peripheral nervous system, you have the sympathetic ganglion and the dorsal root ganglion. Doon yun sa PNS. Doon sa peripheral nervous system, meron siyang sympathetic ganglion, also has multipolar. And dun sa dorsal root ganglion has a pseudo-unipolar neuron. So that's the classification based on the number of processes. Diba? So pwedeng i-classify si neuron based on the number of processes or pwede mo rin siyang i-classify based on functional, whether it's a sensory or a motor. Clear? So when you read your textbook, you will encounter this. Remember, this is just the summary of what you should have read. Sinasummarize ko lang yung important points from the asynchronous lecture. Any more clarifications? I think Dr. Pakulan is ready now with her lecture if there are no more questions. Or you can jot down your questions and you can ask them later. kung meron pang time after Dr. Pakulan's lecture. Dr. Uy, meron pang questions sa chat box? Parang wala naman na nag-raise ng hand eh.
Ma'am, parang there's a last question.
Yeah, sure.
Regarding the slide on the nerve damage, is it always, if there's nerve damage, is it always accompanied by muscle atrophy?
Sa muscle.
Opo.
Yeah, it can be accompanied by muscle atrophy if there's nerve damage. Kasi you cannot move it eh. So eventually, if you cannot move the muscle, mag-atrophy yun. Diba dun sa mga athletes, pag nagkaroon ng nerve damage, hindi nila magalaw. So eventually, mag-atrophy yung muscle. Unless na mag-ano sila, what they call that, therapy. So that the muscles can be moved to prevent it from degenerating. Any more questions?
Hi ma'am, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Thank you po.
Thank you.